I'm Linda Cooper, and thanks so much for joining us on the New 100 Longevity Campaign. I'm so excited for today's show. We are getting our heat shock proteins on using one of the top healing modalities in biohacking, and I am talking about infrared saunas. It has been proven that frequent sauna usage is associated with overall longevity, and I just wanted to take a deep dive on this subject matter because we're all familiar with saunas at the gym, just like, when you go into the hot tub, but I really wanted to take a deep dive on the true healing potential because there is a lot of research behind this. And the concept of healing with heat with humans is nothing new. I mean, it's been around for centuries. There's been Turkish hammams, there has been Russian banyas, there's been Native American sweat lodges. I mean, it's been done. But we just honed in on the practice, I would say, about 30 years ago with the invention of infrared saunas. And today's guest, well, he just blows everyone out of the water. He has made this truly incredible. He is Dr. Raleigh Duncan, and he is the founder of Clearlight Saunas, which is the largest sauna distributor in the world. He actually is responsible. All the jacuzzi brand, Clearlight Saunas is the private label for jacuzzi and other well-known brands. And he actually is recognized as an early pioneer in this industry. And he actually, back in 1996, so he was really ahead of everybody else, as a chiropractor, he found the incredible healing benefits for infrared saunas, and he decided to make this his lifelong work, to bring healing with heat to the people and for better wellness and longevity. I just started using this about a month ago. I have one in my house that is phenomenal. I created a Zen spa room actually around it, repurposing my upstairs game room for the kids who are out of the house now. And I can't tell you how much I'm getting out of this and how great I feel. So I am so excited to have him on. Let's light this candle and welcome Raleigh to the show. Welcome, Raleigh, to the show. Thank you so much for joining us.
So happy to be here.
Oh my gosh, can I tell you, you've changed my life. Your infrared sauna, I should say, has changed my life. I am completely obsessed. I was sharing with the viewers just before we introduced you on that I created a Zen spa room around the beautiful Clearlight infrared sauna, and I can't tell you, I don't know what I was missing out on this whole time. I'm in la la land.
That's great. I love to hear that. That
Yeah.
makes it all worthwhile,
In fact, this morning I did a cardio dance class. Your speakers are phenomenal.
Wow.
so,
Yeah,
so I
good.
sweated even more than normal. I was sharing that I wanted to have you give us the full picture of what is so incredible and all of the fabulous research behind infrared sauna usage. And I know the frequency has a lot to do with that as
It
well.
does. It does. Yeah. We've been working on it for a long time, over 20 years to really make it the best for healing. So.
Yes. Well, let's start with the basics. Tell us, what is the term infrared sauna? What does that mean exactly?
So everyone's familiar with the regular sauna, what I would call the box of hot rock sauna or the Finnish type sauna, where you go in a room, probably cedar. There's some benches, a low bench, a high bench, and then there's this big box of rocks. And that's what heats up. And then the heated rocks heat the air inside that type of traditional sauna. And in order for it to work, to make your body hot and to get you to sweat and everything, the air temperature has to be in that traditional sauna about 180 to 200 degrees Fahrenheit, or even more. All right. So that means it takes a long time to heat up, about an hour or so. It takes a lot of energy and it's hard to breathe. People that go in that, they say, oh, I don't like it, I can't breathe, or they have a towel up or handkerchief up against their nose so they can breathe. And then all the heat seems to rise to the top. Now, infrared sauna, the first thing you notice when you go in is there's these panels. So instead of having this box of rocks, the infrared panels heat you directly. So the wavelength of infrared comes from hopefully whatever sauna, infrared sauna you're in. You have the heaters all around you, and infrared wavelengths gently come into your body and they heat the body directly. So the energy is not given up to the air. So the air stays comfortable to breathe. It still feels very warm and hot. And I was in my sauna today, and just within a couple minutes, I'm just dripping. So it works very well. So infrared sauna, it's very easy to breathe, and you get all those wavelengths coming into your body, and it just feels great.
It
Yeah.
feels so incredible. Yeah, so let's talk about the different forms of healing with heat because there's different kinds of saunas out there.
Well, we have far infrared, and then depending on the model, like the model that you have, we have full spectrum heaters in the front that give off far, mid, and near. Those are the ones that are on the glass there.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
yeah,
Well, I'm telling you, just in the short time frame that I've been using it, my skin feels
that's
incredible. Like, what is that?
so that's very common. Most people will. That's the first thing that they'll say, actually.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, yeah. And so what's happening? One of the properties of the of infrared sauna is to detox the body. So we start to detox from the outside in. So that means that your skin is healthier, the toxins are being removed, and it's just a healthier skin, so it feels better.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
very simple.
Well, no, it's smoother, and I just feel just like so much more energized.
Mhm.
I think just the opposite of being in a hot space. I think the sauna goes up to, for me, 135 to 140.
That's a yeah, normal. I got in my sauna. It's kind of cold. Mine's outside, so it was about 120. But it's not really the air temperature that's doing the work. It's those infrared heaters. So air temperature is not as important in the infrared sauna.
So
Yeah.
tell us then, because I know there's incredible health benefits, one of which is increasing our heat shock proteins, which I'm a big fan of.
Yes, the heat shock proteins are very important, and our proteins in our body they live for a certain amount of time, and then they'll start to unravel, basically, and then they don't function anymore. And some proteins will even they'll become what is called senescent, or they're like I call them zombie proteins, where they're just over in the corner and they're not dead, but they're half dead, and they're putting out what are called cytokines, which are bad chemicals. So the heat shock proteins are like this little army, and they'll go in, and for the proteins that can be refolded and put back into shape and get their functioning going, they'll do that. Or they'll take these other zombie proteins and they'll escort them out with the trash. And these heat shock proteins, once you develop them in the sauna in your body, they'll last for like a week going around scavenging all these things. So heat shock proteins are so amazing because they will come in and they will refold proteins that are unfolded, and they'll take these zombie proteins out and take them out with the trash. So if you can do this, make proteins last longer, that's really the definition of anti-aging right there.
100%. And
Yeah.
the frequency of using the sauna, I remember reading a study about that. If you can go into
There,
the,
yeah, there was a big sauna study that was put up in JAMA and Harvard Health and a lot of different publications just a couple years ago, and it was interesting study because it was over 20 years and over 2,000 people, and they correlated two things that they looked at. Well, they actually looked at a lot of things, but the two that really stuck out was morbidity. All cause morbidity went down in percentage the more times per week you use the sauna.
right,
So all cause mortality went down.
everything.
Yeah, everything. So that's cancer. That's it's probably not traffic accidents.
Right.
And then they looked at heart health, and they found the same thing, that sudden cardiac death and cardiovascular disease can be reduced significantly by just increasing the number of times that you go in the sauna. So if you're going in the sauna 0 times a week, you're not even in the study.
Yeah.
So
But what
yeah.
you're talking about, I believe it's 4 to 7 times a week.
Well, actually 4 times a week. It was interesting because it was only 20 minutes in the sauna, All right. And really, 3 to 4 times a week is all you needed to do to really reduce your all cause morbidity by about 42%. That's huge.
Huge, huge.
Yeah.
That speaks volumes right there. Let's go into all the rest of the laundry list.
Okay. All
There's
right.
a lot.
Well, so what I can start with is just the benefits that we've found, and there's so much research on this. It's just amazing. So I'm just going to start with number one, stress. All right, and I took a week one time, and I went around. I asked everybody, "Do you feel stressed out?" Linda, I didn't have one person say, "No, I'm not stressed out." Everybody's stressed out.
Stressed out. Especially
Yeah,
we're filming this right now during COVID with the pandemic, so that's
yeah.
stress right there, which has just been horrendous. But that's a whole other topic.
Right. So how do you get out of that stress place? And so I look at the sauna as like a little sanctuary, a place you can go into. And then when the infrared wavelengths come into your body, what happens is vasodilation. So what we're trying to do, it's the difference between sympathetic and parasympathetic. Sympathetic is the fight or flight. I'm running from the tiger, which most of us, our bodies think we're being chased by a tiger all the time.
Okay.
Right? And
I don't know if
paras
I have a
parasympathetic,
to-do list that has to get done. Okay.
like, yeah, or just this, the texting and just the lives we live. So when you go in the sauna and the infrared wavelengths come in your body, vasodilation happens. That's the blood vessels open up all over your body, and you're going to go into a parasympathetic tone. And that's the rest, relax. That calm place. It's just going to happen. You don't have to learn how to meditate. You don't have to do anything. Just go in the sauna. And that's huge for shifting our away from disease and into health, mental health, physical health, everything right there.
Right
So
there.
that's, I think, is the number one thing.
100%. 100. And there was one other factor too that I really gravitated to, which was weight loss.
Oh, yes. Yes. So when you say weight loss, most people just turn you right off because
Oh
they
no,
don't want to hear.
me, I perk up.
Oh,
Tell me
that
more.
okay, that's great. So we knew that this was happening. We'd seen it happen for many, many years, but we wanted to document it. So we got together with University of New York, SUNY Binghamton, and did a weight loss study. It was really interesting. Had 20 subjects, and 5 times a week, each subject would get into the sauna for a half an hour, or 8 weeks total. And then we had a control group for the people that didn't get in the sauna. And what we found was so amazing that the people didn't do anything else. You just get in the sauna. They didn't change how they ate or exercised. And at the end of those 8 weeks, they had a 4% body fat reduction.
Amazing. That's incredible. Okay, so I do think some of what I'm seeing, I do see a lower body fat percentage, but I also am weighing less on the scale. Like if I weigh in
Yeah.
the morning, then I sauna for 40 minutes typically, and then
Hmm.
um, weigh myself again, and I
Right.
am easily a pound lighter. So that's water weight, right?
That could, yeah. I don't think you're going to lose pounds in that way, or yeah, that's
Makes me feel better to do it.
yeah. But what you'll see over a period of time, and this has been documented in other places over time, and that's why we did the study. We were very certain this would prove out.
Another one of the great benefits is detoxing, correct?
Yes, detox is huge, and so a little background on detoxing. Most people may know this or may not, that there are 80,000 chemicals that we are exposed to that our great grandparents weren't. Now think of that.
That's terrible. I didn't know that.
You put them all together. So you could do maybe a study and take one chemical and see how it reacts on the body, how it reacts on the hormone system, on the health of the person. If you put two or three together, you can't really, then it's a wild card. But 80,000 chemicals, you
Wow.
know,
Yeah.
and this is coming in the air, in the water, in the food we eat. So there's really, you can try. I try to eat organic as much as I can. I do all that, but it's very difficult to keep it away. So how do you get those toxins? And those toxins come and many of them stay. There was Environmental Working Group is a great organization, and they tested umbilical cords of new babies and found that they had an average of over 200 chemicals in the umbilical cords.
Oh my God, that's disgusting. I had no idea. Wow.
Yeah. EWG, Environmental Working Group, great group. And so if you're coming into the world with that many toxins, you don't really, it's just, I don't think it's fair.
Right. So how do you get rid of them with the sauna? How does this
So,
work?
so it depends on how much of a deep dive you want to go, but we've designed our saunas that the wavelengths, a large percentage of the wavelengths that we put out is in the 9.4 range. That's in a micron range. We give off infrared from our bodies in a 9.4 micron range. So when we give the same wavelength back into the body that the body is giving out, we get what is called a resonant frequency. What that means is that we'll get a vibration in the body, in the cells of the body, and that helps the toxins to cleave off. They go into the interstitial fluid, and then they go and they exit either through the sweat or through the organs of elimination. For detoxification, what we do is that we take the same wavelength that the body puts out, which is 9.4, but we have it in our heaters in a large percentage. And when we give that back to the body, we'll get a vibration or a resonant frequency in the cells. And this started with a paper that I read out of Japan about resonant frequency and infrared in the body by Kabaya and Inoue. There's two Japanese research scientists, and this is decades ago, that postulated that you could do this, get this vibration in the cells, and that's going to help detoxification. So that became my goal, to design our heaters in such a way to accomplish that.
Amazing, amazing. Well, okay, so I know there's so many others. There's is it cardiovascular health, heart health, correct?
Right, right. We talked about that a little in that study before. So many research studies on heart health, and even people with congestive heart failure. Of course, people with that, you want to talk to your doctor first, but research showing great outcomes for people going in the infrared sauna. And I think it has a lot to do with this vasodilation, this opening and closing of your blood vessels that happens naturally when you go in and out of the sauna.
Yeah.
So it sort of gets everything moving.
Your heart rate goes up?
Oh, yes. So that's another advantage that happens in the infrared sauna. And it goes back to how we've designed our saunas. And that is this vasodilation. I realized, well, I want to put my heaters all around you. You'll notice in your sauna, you have heaters behind you, underneath the bench, to the right and the left. So what I'm trying to do is create what I call a global vasodilation. And what happens is that when all your blood vessels dilate all at once, your body senses that and goes, blood pressure is going down. We've got to do something quickly. So it'll start to pump the heart. And I'll get my heart when I'm in my sauna up to like 120.
Oh, wow.
And so it's just like I'm working out. So I call that passive aerobic,
Yeah, I get
right?
up to 150 because I am working out.
Oh, you are working out. Yeah. Well, just sitting there, I will get up to 120. And so you're working the heart, the blood is moving through, you're burning energy, you're boosting your metabolism. All these good things are happening.
Yes.
And you're listening to maybe something nice on the
You have
speaker.
thought of everything. So, okay, so this is what I also love. So, yes, we're listening to music, which I'll sometimes have a Zen meditation on
Yeah.
or spa music. I'm not always working out in there. I use that time for it's my me time, which is so
Yes.
important. Most people don't do that for themselves. So I really enjoy that. But I also love your
Oh,
chromotherapy
yes.
lights. So tell us about that because I love that. The one that I love the most, just instinctually, is the blue. But tell us about the chromotherapy.
So chromotherapy is something we've been putting into our saunas for quite some times, and it's very interesting because there's many different schools of chromotherapy. Some are related to the organs, some are related to the chakras, some are related to the mood. Like red is more heart centered, and blue does many things. It combats seasonal affective disorder. All right, it's been associated with greater energy. So you'll find different colors you'll gravitate to. But
Yes. Yes.
yeah,
Okay, so you have how many different ones? Are there seven, eight?
there's 8 in there. Yes,
Okay. 'Cause, I mean,
it's been around for a long time.
yes, for centuries. This isn't anything new. Just like, healing with heat isn't anything new. I was saying that it's been around for centuries. A lot of different cultures have done this, but you've perfected it.
Well, here's my goal is that once I have you in the sauna, what else can I do to help you to heal?
Yes.
And so that was one of the most obvious ones
Yes. Yes.
to put the light in. And so everyone likes it, and you can put it on automatic that I'm sure you found.
Yeah, it's like a
where
disco
you-
ball.
yeah,
But it alternates. So I think there's the red is the great energizer, and then there's
it is. Red works on the circulatory nervous system. It aids in the production of like red blood cells, things like that.
yeah,
Yellow is for tissue and purifies the skin. Orange is a mood enhancer. And then to the organs, it aids in stomach, digestion, things like that. Green, as I recollect, is more of a calming, relaxing one.
right.
And then, but you said you like the
I love
blue.
the blue. For
Uh-huh.
some reason, that's the one that I gravitated to.
Well, that's blue light's supposed to stimulate muscles and skin cells and
Yeah, that's
help with the liver. So
yeah.
yeah, I think that's a good one. I just put it on. I usually let it rotate, and then lately I've also been using a lot of red because there's been a lot of studies about red light therapy, doing what's called photobiomodulation, and that's actually putting energy into the mitochondria of the cells, into the ATP. It's very interesting.
So that is specifically the red light.
The red light, yes, red light. And then I think we talked about we've come out with a red light that will go on the door. So that's another thing. We have a placeholder on the door of all our saunas, the two little holes that normally there's a metal piece in there, but you can hang that on as an option, plugs right in. But it's very intense red light, red and near.
Yes, and what else is coming down the pipeline? Because you literally are thinking of everything. I think you mentioned something about salt therapy, didn't you?
Yes, we're going to be introducing what's called halotherapy, which is salt therapy that you breathe in. So it's a unit it's very very nice looking, well designed. We've actually won 2 design awards in Europe for the unit. We'll be introducing it first quarter, and it will hang on the wall of the sauna, or it can be used on a tabletop or bedside. And it's about a 20-minute session. You get this micronized salt that you breathe into the lungs, and it helps with lung function. And because salt is an antibacterial, antiviral,
Yes.
and so as you're breathing that in, it's been used in Europe for just decades and well, actually centuries. But
So is it a specific kind of salt? Because I actually have been getting a lot of Himalayan salt accents
Mhm.
for my Zen spots for,
Yes,
around it. So is it Himalayan salt or what
it
kind?
isn't. It isn't Himalayan salt because you're breathing it in. We wanted it to be 100% pure, so you can't get 100%, but it's like 99.9. So it's pharmaceutical grade salt.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we haven't yet covered the importance of low EMF and low ELF. So tell us about that.
Oh, I'd love to. So we were the earliest pioneers. We were the first ones to eliminate EMF, and that comes out of the heaters, are the big carbon panel heaters, which had that proper wavelength, that 9.4 that I was talking about, but they had very high EMF. The first ones that
Or electromagnetic,
oh, electromagnetic field.
just for anybody out there, because I
Yeah.
have to look it up. So,
So the EMF, um, electromagnetic field, the World Health Organization says never to allow yourself to be exposed to more than 3 milligauss. That's how it's measured in milligauss. And at the time that I first saw these flat panel heaters with this great wavelength, they were over 100 milligauss. They
oh,
just buried the needle on the meter. And so we worked for 3 years. It took us 3 years to come up with a system to eliminate the EMF. And then We put it in our saunas, and we were the very first ones to do that. So before that, we had low EMF heaters, but they were the ceramic type. They weren't the this flat panel, so it didn't have this good wavelength that we wanted for detoxification and for healing.
Yes.
Yeah, and so that was EMF, and we have patents on it, but we actually did a YouTube video to show other companies how they could do it. So we changed the entire industry.
Okay, so what is ELF?
So ELF is another type of what we call dirty electricity, and I wasn't even aware of it. We had abated the EMF, the electromagnetic field, and then the ELF. We had people saying, "Hey, I want the ELF out of that," and so basically, it's an electrical field. EMF is measured in milligauss. ELF, or electrical field, is measured in volts per meter. So that took us down a whole other coming up with a system. We're really the only ones that are abating that. And we put a little mesh. You'll notice there's a mesh in
Yeah.
front of your heater. Well, that is a mesh that we carbonized, and then we ground it out. And then we put all the cables in electrical conduit and grounded that out. That's how we brought the levels of ELF, or electrical field, down to a safe level.
Okay.
So we're always doing something.
I love that you're constantly thinking about the consumer and their needs and what else you can do, as you say, while you have their attention.
Right.
Clearlight is the world's largest distributor for infrared saunas.
We are at this point on the high end saunas. Yes, we
Yeah.
are.
And
So
you have your own, I know you have you private label for jacuzzi, but do you have your own label as well, or is it, how
eh,
does
well, we do a lot of different private labels that you might not know that we make, and then we sell under our Clearlight label in different parts of the world. And then we actually co-brand with Jacuzzi as Clearlight Infrared, makers of jacuzzi saunas.
okay. Yeah.
So, and to think I started this company in my garage, it's amazing. So,
Hats off to you, really. I mean, insane. You've dedicated your life's work in making us feel better. So,
well, it's been my life's purpose. I was practicing as a chiropractor, but I saw that I could reach more people and help to heal them through the saunas than through seeing patients one at a time. So that was the idea.
no, it's wonderful. I think you found your purpose in life for sure.
Yeah.
So are there any other research studies that you'd like to mention?
There's been so many. If people, I don't know if I can say my website, but
Of
if people, yeah,
course.
go on our website. We're infraredsauna.com.
Yes.
And I've been collecting research for just years and years and years and years. And we have them all in groupings. So if you want to know about muscle pain, or, different types of healing, they're all grouped in there and they're all listed. So you can go in and look on there. One of my favorite research studies came out of Holland many years ago. And it just shows you that people with rheumatoid arthritis, which is an inflammatory disease, normally you think of these diseases as heat will exacerbate them. But
Yeah.
this was a study that came out, and the lead research scientist was Oosterveld, if anyone wants to look that up. But
They can try to spell it.
yeah, yeah, two O's, Oosterveld, Veldt. Anyway, so they found, and they had a group of people with rheumatoid arthritis, put them in the sauna, and they had just great results. So that was landmark for me, because it also talked about other types of arthritis. And then I would tell people, cautiously, if you have rheumatoid arthritis or any of these inflammatory diseases, to try it. Be careful, because some people can get inflamed with heat. So that's one of, I don't know, that was a turning point for me. And
Yes.
then we've had many people jump on, understand about the infrared sauna and the healing properties. Many doctors. We're always doing something.
I love that you're constantly thinking about the consumer and their needs and what else you can do, as you say, while you have their attention
Right.
inside your sauna. Okay, so I have to say, because the show is all about longevity, so if there's any tidbits that you can share as far as research that's been shown and proven to increase our human longevity.
Yes. So one thing that we touched on, and the thing that I'm hottest on right now, is this photobiomodulation. And I want to go a little deeper into that if it's okay.
I
So,
actually want to first have you define what that means.
start with something that everyone's familiar with. Everyone pretty much knows that if you go out in the sun, the UV wavelengths will produce vitamin D in your body.
Yeah.
So that's a reaction that happens within our body. So photobiomodulation is that same type of thing from a certain wavelength of light, but in this case, it's near infrared, which you have in your sauna from those front heaters, and the red light therapy. All right. And the photobiomodulation means that when those wavelengths come into your body, into the cells, it goes right into the mitochondria and the ATP, which is the production of energy in your cell. It produces more energy. It's like hooking it up to a wire that's hooked up in your house. It's putting energy into your cell, and we only have X number of cells that we produce in our lifetime. And most cells have a certain life. So if you can extend the life of that individual cell through this photobiomodulation, that is the definition of longevity.
Yes, it's all about cellular health.
Yes.
That's amazing. Yes. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. Okay. So right there, people, you need to get your own infrared sauna. Right there. So there's one product that we haven't spoken about yet that I should definitely mention because of the global pandemic. And you've come out with a UV wand, not to be used with the sauna, but tell us about that.
Okay. Well, it can be used in the sauna.
Really?
Yeah, well, just for the bench or to take the bacteria out. So again, we were talking about different types of light and how they react. So the UV wand uses specific, very powerful UV wavelengths that will kill bacteria. And it basically stops the bacteria from being able to reproduce, which renders it moot.
Right.
And we developed this, it was so quick, and we developed it in about 8 weeks once COVID started because we saw the need for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we were already making LEDs for our red light tower, and we jumped right in. And we've sold millions of dollars worth of these over a period of time. So it's been quite amazing.
Can you travel with it?
Oh, yes, you can. In fact, I talked to a woman who's in her 80s, and they took a road trip, and they took it so they could go into the bathrooms in different places that they were.
Put it over the surface and hold
Yeah,
it?
just about 6 inches away. It will kill like Ebola in from 6 inches in like 2 seconds. So
And how much did these run?
they're about $300 as I recollect. I'm usually just looking at the wholesale of it. Yeah.
I was meaning like for airplane travel, there's nothing in there like that's got a battery or something that they're gonna say, oh, you can't travel with this.
I don't know what the restrictions are for, but usually, I know they're using these on airlines,
Right.
but
Yeah.
that would be perfect to, yeah, to sit and
That's
wave it.
what I
But
would
I
do.
know people that have done that. Yeah.
Yeah. Although I'm not doing much traveling these days.
No, me either.
But I have to ask you what's behind you. You've got a fabulous collection of banjos and guitars there.
I have, to my wife's dismay, I have over 30 guitars. They're actually all around me right now.
Wow.
And I've been playing music, playing guitar and performing since I was, a little guy, about 12. So,
So
yeah,
is there anything that we could like listen to or share?
I, I have a few songs on SoundCloud, but I'm just waiting. I've been writing a lot of songs for when COVID is over, and I can't wait to get back out to perform. So it's been a lot of fun, and yeah.
Yes. Well, what one thing that COVID has done for I think everyone is made them appreciate their loved ones and their friends and their surroundings more and just not taking anything for granted and making their living space more encompassing. So, I mean, I know that's been the case for me at least. And having this Clearlight infrared sauna has been a huge improvement on my quality of life. So I want to thank you for that.
Yeah. What have you seen? Maybe I can ask you a question. What have you seen from what has changed?
Okay, so there's a number of things. So the first thing I noticed, I said, was the skin. My
Mhm,
skin is a lot softer now, and
mhm.
does it, am I imagining this or is it healing? Um, like if I have like a cut or something, it heals quicker. Is that
Mhm.
possible?
That's very, very possible because it boosts the immune system.
Okay, yes.
And wound healing, all that's involved. And yeah,
And then I also am sleeping more soundly.
we hear that too. So you're not alone.
Okay. And
Yeah,
of course, I have lost a couple pounds.
we love that. Yeah,
Really fun.
yeah.
Never complain about that. So just overall, it's just wonderful. And in fact, if you all are wanting to get your very own Clearlight infrared sauna, the brand is offering a special. So you can use the promo code Linda Cooper, which I'll put on the back end, and you can get. I think we talked about $400 to $600 off, whichever unit. You've got a lot of different models to choose from too.
We do. It's grown as people have wanted, different things for different locations. So
Yeah.
that's fine.
I
Yeah.
just, and I love the design, and you played a big role in designing.
That's what I do mostly now. Yeah.
Well, again, hats off to you
Yeah.
because it's fabulous. And thank you so much for being with us today.
Well, thanks for having me. I've really enjoyed. We seem like kindred spirits, so it's good to hang out together.
Very much so, yes.
Yeah.
Well, that's it, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in today, and we will see you next time on the new 100 Longevity Campaign. Bye.
I'm not backing down, 'cause the future is now. Not backing down, 'cause the future is now.